What's up, gamers? It's time to play some Heroes Charge on this episode of Monday Fun Day. So, what we're going to do starting off is kind of give you an update on how I did on Championship. I actually made it to the Elite Preliminaries, but then lost. Typically, I don't go any further than the Elite Preliminaries, but just to kind of prove it, I'll show you the logs. I started off on the bottom, winning against some of the lower levels and people that were equal. And then I think this is where the right here is where the elite started. Um, so basically, I was able to beat someone that was actually equal to my level. I think it was I won 2 out of 3. Yep. So now, what I found interesting about the fight on top, and I'll go ahead and replay it, is the fact that this person had a rose fencer, and I had commander up front and hidden needle in the middle, and somehow I still won. Like I would have expected, Rose Fencer to completely shut my team down, but let's take a look at what happened and how it happened. I also have a cat right here. Say hi, Ozzy. That's our big black cat. Anyway, you're probably just watching the fighting anyway, unless you're a cat lover. But thankfully, Turtlefly was able to do some distracting. I mean, Succubus and Imperial Executioner are pretty much focused on Turtle Fighter most of this fight. But yeah, look at that. Two of my females were just kind of stunned for a while. But somehow, because I guess everybody else was so distracted with my turtle fighter, that my females were still able to do their thing. Like, this isn't typical. I'll tell you right now. I want to say this was just RNG at its finest. Because look at this Hidden Needle just going off. This almost never happens when there's a Rose Fencer on the opponent's team. Like, usually Hidden Needle just sits there and dies. But somehow, I guess because of Turtle Fighter, and the way their team was built, I was able to do stuff. Like, it was fantastic, really good fight. I just wanted to show that off because that was just a huge surprise. Like, I looked at that and I was like, huh, I should have lost that one, but somehow I won. Well, anyway, so we got those fights. So that was the one fight that I actually did win 2 out of 3. But the other fights, I pretty much got destroyed. Well, I won one match, but you know, basically they took me out. Apparently, the team on top that I'm using is pretty decent. That's what's been really giving me at least one win. It's a Turtle Fighter, Commander, Lightbringer, Cleric, and Hidden Needle. Not really sure where I got the team idea from. I just something I had in Grand Arena for defense, so I kind of just stuck with it. I didn't really make any adjustments. I haven't really been taking Grand Arena too seriously. I mean, honestly, as long as I'm getting at least 30 coins a day, or an hour, excuse me. Wow, a day. As long as I'm getting 30 coins an hour, that's all I really care about. Speaking of Grand Arena, let's go ahead and just transition there since, that was kind of smooth, if you ask me. Um, let's take a look at some replays. So, somebody actually a day ago dropped me down 300 ranks, which really made me upset. But I got it back. But yeah, this is pretty much the fights right here. Basically, he beat the team, pretty much what we consider my best team, I guess, of the three of my defense teams in Grand Arena. Now, by the way, these teams that I'm using right now for defense in Grand Arena are probably not good ideas. It's just right now I don't have enough red heroes that I actually want. Because typically, what I think would be good for Grand Arena teams is 2 red tanks and like maybe 2 or 3 DPSs. All red, by the way, in each team. So 2 good tanks, and then 2 3 DPS on all 3 teams, and just something that teams that work together. But yeah, he pretty much took me out. I mean, the only team that won was my middle team, and that's just probably because of good RNG for me. We don't necessarily need to see them, but also I did get my ranking back in this particular group. Um, I do kind of want to show you the third battle because It's just such a fun team that I just have to show it. Actually, no. Let me show the first fight first, because this was the team that I used in offense was kind of a mistake. I didn't actually mean to put in Ice Maze. I was trying to put somebody else in, and I think I got her confused with somebody. And when I started fighting, I was like, "Crap! I'm gonna lose," because Arcane Sapper is gonna tear her up. But I actually ended up winning. Check it out. You say hi to Ozzy again. Hello, and my cat. And I don't want to be on TV or YouTube. He's chilling on my lap. But yeah, like Arcane Sapper, he's just beating the crap out of my Ice Mage. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get tore up. I figured he was gonna take out both, Ice Mage and Witch, but somehow the team ended up doing all right. Like the three people in the front were doing their thing. Ice Mage was still able to do an ultimate, and Arcane Sapper ends up dying without killing anyone. Huge surprise. I'm guessing their Arcane Sapper just wasn't leveled up enough. I don't know, or geared up or whatever. Um, so Ice Mage dies with her legendary skills. She basically gives I think HP or armor bonus, one of the two, to another hero at random. He gave it to my tank, which was awesome. I think Witch ended up killing Commander because of her ultimate with their little defensive balls going around. And believe it or not, she dealt a good amount of damage. I just pushed her to red right before recording. So this was, while she was orange. But look at that, 115k. Like, that's pretty good. And honestly, I almost never use Witch. I was going to use Witch, to fight Ninja Assassin until I realized I already had Lightbringer. And I was like, that might be a better idea, and it was pretty good. Not gonna lie, but yeah, I'm gonna push up Witch because she wouldn't be bad to put in a Grand Arena team, you know. So it could be like two tags, her, and then two other DPS, and call it a day. Also, just a side note, I haven't tested this theory out, but I have a theory that Witch might be good against Puppet Master. Because if you think about it, Puppet Master mainly targets the hero in the back. Well, of course, if you put Witch in the back, she's going to be taken down. When she ultimates, if Puppet Master goes off on her, Puppet Master's going to die. So that's my thought. So I'm thinking that, and I'm going to test this theory one day, when I do an arena or something. Uh, I'll test that theory to see if that's true. Because I did do a little versus thing post on uh, I did a guild memo a while back. I talked about who was good against who. I believe I mentioned that Librarian, of course, is good against Ninja Assassin and Arcade Sapper. I'm trying to remember who else I brought up. There were just certain people that were just good to use against others. I think I put Ember Star and Imperial Executioner being good against Turtle Fighter. Um, and I can't really think of what else. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and go to Arena because that's kind of the main thing we're going to talk about today, and that's kind of what everybody seems to like to check out. Um, a lot of people have attacked me past few days. Let's see. Go to replays. And I did try attacking someone a little bit ago and lost, but yeah, look at that. And this is only showing from a day ago on. Matter of fact, the guy on the bottom, FM Saw 16, he's actually the guy that brought me down 300 ranks in Grand Arena. But as far as regular arena, he wasn't able to go through. So since he did beat me in Grand Arena, I'll give him a little bit of a replay value here. So we'll show off his team, see how I was able to defend against him. So he was running Dwarf Warrior, looks like Fallen Dominion, Rose Fencer, Imperial Executioner, Queen of Curse. I think that's a good team. I think that's a solid idea. Um, I think the only thing that might not be, I mean, I guess I like Fallen Dominion because I have Turtle Fighter, so Dominion can focus on Turtle Fighter. If I wasn't running Turtle Fighter and I was just running any other tank, I think Fallen Dominion would not be a good idea because he only really targets one person for the most part. Kind of the same with Imperial Executioner. I mean, he's good too, but ideally against a team full of tanks, you want people that can do a good amount of AoE damage, and this is just not that team. About the only person that's doing any kind of AOE is Rose Fencer, and honestly, he's good, but not by himself as far as the only like AOE person. So it looks like we were easily able to defend against them. Now, I actually haven't watched this video yet, so I'm actually this is actually my first preview too. But yeah, it looks like we actually ended up taking out a good chunk of his heroes and not losing any of ours, which is important. I have to tell you, Soul Hunter getting in some kills with his ultimate. That's pretty cool. And honestly, Soul Hunter is someone that I've actually been using since I was a noob. Like I actually really liked him, and he was my tank for a while. It just wasn't with the right team, but it still did something. It was one of the best tanks I had at the time. But now that there's actually tank like teams, like he's so much better, and I'm so glad I get to use him again. But yeah, I mean, Fallen Dominion didn't really do much damage, and that's because he's not good against teams like mine. By the way, my cleric did get a little bit better. I finally got a Wraith Lorica and did a craft. So now all I have to do is get one more Wraith Lorica just for its own equipment, and then all of his equipment for red will be done. Everything's enchanted, of course. Every time I get an equipment for a red hero, they're always enchanted. Even my orange 2 heroes, most of them have all their equipments enchanted. It's just the right thing to do. But either way, basically Rose Fencer did a lot of work, and so did Dwarf Warrior. Dwarf Warrior is actually good. He's the one tank honestly you should use against tank like teams, mainly because he does deal a lot of damage. His ultimate skill is it does massive damage. So if you're gonna use a tank against a tank like team, that's the one you really want to use, not Turtle Fighter or anybody else. You should really run Dwarf Warrior with like 3 or 4 good tanks, and call it a day. Um, but yeah, and then we'll show another fight too. Mindless Pit. He's actually in my guild. He went ahead and challenged me, so let's see how he did. I mean, we know the end result, but how did it happen is what we want to see. So let's go ahead and replay that. He's using a very interesting hero. I think it's Timekeeper, I think his name is. Really interesting hero. He's actually pretty good in Guild Raid. I actually borrowed one from him uh, in one of my fights, and he did some good damage. So definitely someone to consider, at least for Guild Raid. As far as Arena, I don't know yet because he's the only person I can remember ever fighting against that uses him. So he did try Ninja Assassin against me, which was a mistake because Ninja Assassin doesn't do nothing against my team. 99% of the time, it'll work in my favor. But yep, basically takes out Ninja Assassin with him, and then the rest of his guys are doing his thing. Timekeeper might be good against a team. I'm not sure. Griffin is definitely a good person for him to run. I just killed his Timekeeper. Um, Fallen Dominion again, not really the right hero in this scenario. Um, just no. But he's trying. You got to give him, a little bit of effort. He's trying. And Dwarf Warrior, of course, who is a good idea. And Soul Hunter getting that damage in. But yeah, I mean, basically, I timed them out. Like I said, the team seems pretty strong. Just Ninja Assassin is just not the right hero to use against me. Neither is Fallen Dominion. But looking at the stats, it looks like that Timekeeper guy. Look at the 170k. That is fantastic. So definitely MVP for him as far as dealing damage. On my side, it's more or less Lightbringer. It usually is Lightbringer number 1, and either Soul Hunter or Turtle Fighter is number 2. I've actually been going to the Heroes Camp and just pumping up Turtle Fighter a lot, just so he can, kill more people as he's rolling around. So that was a pretty good fight. Like I said, I just don't agree with Ninja Assassin or Fallen Dominion. And I got a few other wins. We're not going to look at the ones that were in the 90s because it's not necessary. I did get a win last night. Actually, I just passed it. An offensive win. So let's go ahead and check it out. Now you get to see me in action as opposed to just seeing me defending. If I can never let it load. There we go. I guess I just wasn't tapping it. So this is a guy from Ocean, which is another one of those guilds that have three guilds more or less, or multiple guilds formed as one. So for me, a turtle fighter is my tank to try to distract the back and middle heroes, and then of course I use Commander, uh, Griffin, Hidden Needle Sorceress as my DPSers. This is the team I would typically use against major tank like teams, but this was just kind of a basic team. Not to say it's a bad team, just saying basic as in it's not full of tanks, but it's not super offensive. It's a balanced team. There you go. I think Commander is also good against teams that have a lot of tanks because she deals a lot of damage to tanks in general. So Griffin just dies. Sorceress gets a lot of damage in there. Hidden Needle goes off. Boom. And then that's pretty much going to be the game right here. Like once Hidden Needle starts getting kills, you've more or less won the game. And look, two for right there. Bam. So good. Well, Sorcerer kind of had the assist there. But taking a look at the MVP and damage, yeah, Sorceress 220k, Hidden Needle 170k. So like I said, my opponent had a balanced team. Not a team that I would use for defense though. That's more of a team that I'd consider maybe for offense against other balanced teams. But a decent team nonetheless. Let's see. And I think I actually want to show you. Well, someone tried attacking me twice, but we're not going to watch that yet. Or at least not today. One fight I do want to show you is a fight that I tried to do just a little while ago and lost. Me on the offense. I want to show this match because I was so close to winning. And thank you, Seven Nights, for interrupting me, but I'll play you later. I've already posted a video today for you anyway. Pretty much on Mondays, I try to post all three games: Seven Nights, Heroes, Stars, and Hearthstone. I've already done Hearthstone and Seven Nights. So, Rose Fencer. I pretty much only use Sorceress in the back line as far as females, so that Rose Fencer wouldn't completely destroy me. Of course, Ninja Assassin and Lightbringer take each other out. They took out my tank quite quickly, which was kind of the start of my demise. But Sorceress really, really tried. I mean, she was getting in that damage. She was getting so many kills. Um, why am I using Fallen Dominion? Because he's the only male character that I'm aware of that can do lots of damage. It's not a female. So that's kind of what that is. So Griffin dies, and look, it's now a stunned sorcerer, which is why I hate using females against Rose Fencer. But she wakes up, boom, kills Rose Fencer, or there you go, now kills Rose Fencer. But the ultimate from Dwarf Warrior pretty much finishes the job. Very, very close fight. But Rose Fencer's long, long stun against females pretty much did me in. But yeah, look at 230k damage with sorcerers. Although now that I think about it, maybe instead of using Fallen Dominion, I should have just used Rose Fencer. I mean, no, he wouldn't have probably hit nobody because the only female was Queen of Curse and she was in the back. But it might have been a better choice than Fallen Dominion, who really didn't do much damage. Uh, I don't know. It just lately in Arena, Fallen Dominion just hasn't been doing his thing. Like he used to be such a dominant force when he first dropped, but nowadays, I don't know. I think he just become obsolete. I don't know. I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. Like, I don't mind getting feedback. And I guess if you want, we can see if we can beat somebody. Let's see who we got to fight against. You know what? Let's test that theory I had about Puppet Master versus Witch. Now, my witch isn't necessarily anywhere she needs to be right now. As a matter of fact, for the sake of this video being somewhat legit, I'm actually going to enchant her equipment because I haven't done so yet. So you can actually see me do a little bit of work today. So use up all of your, consumables. And I usually, the way that I do it is if I have at least 300 of an item, I use that to power up, my heroes or to enchant my heroes instead of uh, anything that I have less of. Because if you have 300 or something, then that means you almost never need it because you get it so often and you don't need to use it as often. So I got a red item that I'm using right now. So we got that maxed. And then we got 300 of some of this item. So we'll use it again. All right. Enchant. Now that's maxed. So we'll go to something else that I have 300 of, like this. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to move it over. Like this. There you go. And then go to another item I have 300 of or more. And boom. And that's pretty much how I enchant. To start with items that you have the most of, they give you the most value, which is why I scroll all the way down. And then just move up. Because, like I said, a lot of these red items I get an abundance of because of temples and stuff like that. Um, so, yeah, I can burn a few to power people up. So she's missing one equipment for red, which is fine. And apparently I got a. Oh, okay. I'll get back to that. So let's go ahead and. Oh, shoot, I just realized something. It's going to reset now because I left. Anytime that you look at a team in arena, but then you go back and leave, it actually changes who your opponents are. See, now it's not there anymore. Ah, darn. I should have been more prepared. I apologize, guys. All right, let's see. Is this team doable? Well, we could try it. Dang. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Now, this is rank 148, so more than likely I'm going to lose. I'm not going to lie. But this is more just for testing a theory. So we're testing Witch versus uh, somebody. Oh, yeah, Witch versus Puppet Master. All right, so we're going to go with Commander since I don't think they have a Rose Fencer. And then we'll use my own Turtle Fighter and kind of go from there. Oh wait, that's not Witch. That's Witch. Oh, that's right. So I can't use. I need to get another middle line hero because I don't want Puppet Master getting a two for. Anytime I'm up against Puppet Master, I only use one backline hero. It's just to me, that's just a smart thing to do. As far as who else, yeah, Hidden Needle. Not sure she can go off. All right, so let's see what happens. Uh, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm going to win this, but I at least hope that this becomes educational enough. Oh crap! There's a Rose Fencer. Oh yeah, I am not winning this fight at all. Oh, this is going to be so bad. Okay, yeah, Witch died too fast, so apparently that wasn't a good show of anything. Like Turtle Fighter just pretty much decimated him, or her, I should say. So, sorry guys, this is not kind of what we were looking for. I do apologize. And there goes Hidden Needle. She just kind of falls over. Yeah, I do apologize, everyone. That was not a good fight at all. That turtle fighter that he had just destroyed her. It was terrible. Now my witch is only just regular red, not +1, and like I said, only four things are enchanted. But it should have been still decent enough to do something, but clearly it wasn't. So yeah, this was pretty much a botched fight. Yeah, and that's about it right there. Oof, that was a bad idea. So learn from my mistakes. Those who can't do, teach. I'm teaching you what not to do. So let's just see how bad I got beat here. Griffin was MVP with 80k for me, but on their side, yeah, it was all about that Puppet Master. That Turtle Fighter did work against my backline hero, which was weird. I didn't think that was going to happen. But, yeah, really disappointing fight. But Oh well, we tried. Okay, so there you go. We got to see a little bit of arena today. Uh, you got to see a little bit of Grand Arena. You got to see how I did in the championship briefly. Also, for a little tip about Heroes Camp, the trading field is what I've been using to power up a lot of my heroes. Right now, I'm working on Cleric. Basically, I'm just working on the tanks for now, and then I'll work on like other heroes. I have worked on some of my DPS heroes too. Um, but as far as the furnace is concerned, I do a lot of max minning or min maxing, excuse me. Basically, if I see that I have more than 10 of an item or a top item, I'll actually just use that to get more equipment or items, I should say, and until I have 10 left, and then if I have 10 or less left, I don't use it, and then I just kind of disassemble until I'm at max. And with me doing something like that, that means I can start, forging things that I need, which I've already started. I could start doing something in the academy, which I already have started, and also, yeah, it's pretty much all just the academy and the forging. But since, like I said, I'm already working on something. And I don't think you can do two things. I could be wrong. Let me see. See if it lets me. Yeah, I don't have enough research slots or whatever. I think you have to be a higher VIP to gain that. And if you end up having too many of a certain item, like right now, I have about 46K Mercury. Now, people are going to be attacking me, so I'm going to lose that Mercury pretty easily. So, to avoid getting attacked, look at your vault. I can hold up to 36K basically without being attacked. So, what I'll do is I'll go to the marketplace, I'll go to Mercury, and then I'll exchange it for ore since I have less ore than I do lumber. And I'll just keep using it until I'm down to 36K or less than 36K so that nobody can attack me and take all my resources. And boom, now I'm down to 34K, as you can see on the top right, at 34K Mercury. Um, and basically, I upped my ore count to 98K, and then my lumber is at 120K. But Mercury and lumber, I'm sorry, lumber and ore, I could have up to 192K. I'm only level 4 right now for most of my, vault and everything else. One day I'll probably push for 5, but it costs a lot, and I'll show you how much it costs. Well, actually, let me rephrase it. It's not going to be as difficult to do now, mainly because they did an update because it was just too ridiculous to get from 4 to 5. But now, if I want to level up, basically I need 500K of both lumber and ore, and then 110K of mercury. I've noticed that mercury seems to be easy for me to come by. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably min max till I have about the max I'm allowed to get without getting attacked. And then what I'll probably do is I'll wait for my um, furnace to pretty much, go back down. Because right now it's at 7983, so it's almost at max. Once it cools off to zero, I'm going to look for an item that can give me like the most for my money, more or less. Well, I can't really see it now because right now I can't consume anything. But the best thing to do is just find an item that'll give you like hundreds of thousands of materials a piece, and then once you do that, go to the war hall. Do some attacking uh, until you get to the point where you can have all the resources you need, and then go from there. You may have to manipulate the marketplace a little bit too because I'm going to be using stuff that's going to be giving me lots of materials. Well, I'm not going to need as much mercury, and I know I'm going to get a lot of it. So what's probably going to happen is I'm going to be using some mercury to balance out and give me more of the other two that I need more. And then keep in mind that if you're at level 3 on your marketplace, you can use coins and gems to give you more resource sources. As a matter of fact, that's how I got to level 4 to begin with. Was I ended up actually using gems and gold to get me to the next level. So keep in mind that you can do that if you have an abundance. Like as far as gold, I'm at 19 million. So now you think, well, that's a lot. I mean, you should probably be able to use that. Well, the problem with using gold is that it starts to cost almost a million every each time. A million gold for like 3,000 is not really much. So don't rely on the gold too much. But yeah, gold can help. Gems can help too. So it's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna do a lot of crusade so that I can get more gold because I usually get like 4 or 6 million in gold for crusade. Maybe 4 or 5 million, and then gems I get like maybe a couple hundred a day off of like my daily for my annual thing, and for doing uh, guild stuff. Basically like I do other people's temples. When I do the booty cave, which I need to join somebody's booty cave, and doing other such thing. I mean, I can always get gems. So I'm probably going to be doing that. I don't know when I'm going to make that attempt, but that's going to be the plan. So for those kind of wanting to know how to manipulate Heroes Camp, that's kind of a good idea. Also, something else I want to bring up too. Somebody mentioned on one of my other Heroes Charge videos about pirates. So let's talk about pirates real quick. That's the team right now who is currently, or the guild I should say, who is currently number 2 in activity with 84k. So they have people that are basically constantly putting up stamina. They probably have a lot of good players. And I found out from someone who made a comment on a video that that guild actually came from server 90, and they used to be called Angry Noobs. So thanks to the person that made that post. That was pretty cool. I like seeing that kind of trivia. That's just kind of cool and knowledge to know. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here and actually do my regular stuff for the guild. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.